Dinosaurs doesn't exactly spring to mind when I think of a horror TV show, and definitely not when most people think of The Exorcist either. In fact, if I was just seeing the title for the first time, Dinosaurs, I'd think it was just a documentary about dinosaurs. No, it's a beloved family sitcom that's kind of in the style of the Flintstones, except it's set in modern times rather than the Stone Age, and the Sinclair family consists of talking dinosaurs rather than cavemen. And also, humans are viewed as pets or wild animals, so I suppose you could call it the reverse Flintstones. I know many people do call it that, so I'm gonna claim that too. It ran from 1991 to 1994 with 4 seasons. During its runtime, Dinosaurs was known for parodying boring but very relevant life stuff like environmentalism, corporate greed, censorship, racism and war. But it also parodied other TV shows and movies, as it was a very comedic and satirical show, and one of the movies it did parody was The Exorcist in an episode called The Terrible Twos. You know what? I never expected Dinosaurs and The Exorcist to be used in the same fucking sentence, but here we are.
The power of rice compels you!
In the episode, the baby spews steam out of his mouth, speaks in a demonic voice and twists his head around 360 degrees, all while a babysitter who closely resembles the priest from The Exorcist attempts to turn him back to normal using a children's book instead of the Holy Bible. Ah, you cheeky bastard. Oi, get out of that baby, you I looked everywhere for Green Eggs and Ham by Dr. Seuss, but I couldn't find it, so here's Blue Eggs and Toast by I don't know who. However, it doesn't end there. The baby also makes his toys float, turn demonic, and causes telekinetic chaos around him. And this is clearly a nod to the movies The Poltergeist and The Omen. There are so many other correlations to The Exorcist though, but you'll have to wait until I get to that point in the episode. Overall, The Terrible Twos plays on the real-life parenting phase Terrible Twos, which is a period where a child turns 2 years old and becomes very difficult to manage. But this show pushes it way over the top, making it quite funny, but also quite terrifying for kids. Watching it as an adult, it's actually hilarious, but it wasn't funny for the kids watching back then when it came out. Nevertheless, it was traumatizing for them more than anything, and I can vouch for that because I was a kid myself when I watched it. And I'm slightly scared, but in a good way, because I love this show. Back to the show in general. So something that surprised me is that Jim Henson, the famous puppeteer responsible for creating the Muppets and Sesame Street, also created the idea for Dinosaurs just before he died. And after Jim died, his son Brian brought in Michael Jacobs and Bob Young to bring the idea to fruition. To be honest, I never knew that as a kid, even though Dinosaurs was my all-time favourite childhood show and I used to be addicted to it. And the most memorable part of it has to be that intro where the dad says,
"Honey, I'm home."
The family are all animatronic puppets. This is Earl Sinclair. He's the father and the breadwinner of the family. His job is literally pushing trees over. This is the mother, Fran Sinclair. She's the stay-at-home wife, and I feel sorry for her because she has to look after that baby that I mentioned earlier every single second of every single day. And his name is literally Baby. Here's Ethel, Fran's mother. She's the grandmother of Robbie, the teenage son, and Charlene, the daughter. Anyways, I'm Kai, this is Stop the Lights. I better stop talking rubbish and get into this fantastic episode called Terrible Twos. The episode opens up with a child psychologist by the name of Dr. Piaget, who introduces the story of this particular episode. This very oddly reminds me of the horror anthology series Tales from the Crypt, where the host by the name of the Crypt Keeper introduces each story at the start of each episode.
Guaranteed to scare the dickens out of you.
What you are about to see tonight may shock, appall, and scare the daylights out of you.
The story begins as the mother Fran is styling a cake for a little baby Sinclair's 2nd birthday. Her mother Ethel comes in, the grandmother.
Oh boy. Another kid's birthday party.
Is it just me, or does she look and sound like Roz from Monsters, Inc?
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
Anyways, Earl Sinclair comes in, and apparently, according to Grandma, a baby shouldn't have a party for a 2nd birthday because...
The baby is entering his terrible twos.
She then predicts exactly what's going to happen by saying that the baby is going to get possessed by an evil force and says,
This is a dark, terrible day.
I know she's saying the word this, T-H-I-S, but her lisp makes it sound like she's saying death. In response to that, I almost said, no shit, Sherlock. The parents try to recall when their other kids, Robbie and Charlene, turned 2, but they have no recollection because of how traumatizing it was. The brain tends to block out stuff like that, you know? But my brain didn't block this episode out of my memory, and that's great because I can cover it here. And that suggests that the other 2 kids also got possessed. I wonder if they hired a babysitter back then to cast this evil out too. Well, Grandma says,
be very afraid.
and then we cut over to the family singing happy birthday to the baby. But the baby is singing too.
Happy birthday to you.
I mean, what a bloody narcissistic baby. He knocks open the door with his mind, followed by an evil laugh. And then he vigorously blows steam out of his mouth when asked to blow out the candles. Followed by another evil laugh. And this is where we see the iconic introduction from the show where Earl comes back from work and says,
Honey, I'm home.
and when Dad, Earl, goes back inside, the baby goes absolutely ballistic, demanding birthday presents.
I want my presents now!
I would call him a spoiled little brat, but to be honest, I was like this myself once upon a time. I remember shopping with my mother and saying, I want apple pie and ice cream, get me apple pie and ice cream. I was an insufferable little f***ing shit sometimes. The baby's sister Charlene tries to calm him down with a game, so he tells her to catch his toy. That's the game he wants to play. And then the bastard takes a bite out of her tail. The baby's brother Robbie gives him a present. It's a toy train that he worked on all year. But the baby doesn't give a rat's ass.
What? Something from the store!
He wants something from the store instead. The family try an extra measure of calming him down by putting Blarney on the TV. Here's another one of the show's parodies. It's clearly a mockery of Barney. I'm sure you know Barney.
What new things have you learned?
I've learned that your reputation is tarnished and Dinosaurs has made a right out of you. The baby flings the bottle onto the TV show straight into Barney's face and shouts,
Die, scum! Die!
The parents go to the doctor to get the baby sorted out. He's the first person they go to for help. In fact, the baby gets so out of hand that they even go to an animal trainer later on, just before hiring the exorcist. I know they call him the babysitter in this episode, but I'm just going to keep calling him the exorcist because he's also an exorcist, like, in our eyes. And that's the whole point of this video. Anyways, this is just like in the Exorcist movie, where the parents exhaust all the normal measures they can before hiring priests. Yeah, about the doctor.
Look at me and say, Whoa! Close the box!
He's absolutely no help because he's dealing with the fucking possession here. What's a doctor supposed to do about that? So they go to that animal trainer that I mentioned, who's absolutely no help at all either. The baby is just a different breed. The parents call in Grandma, telling her that she was right about the terrible twos. As you do. The Grandma recommends an exorcist from her book and says,
Here's the guy I was thinking of. He's well versed in all the primitive rituals for expunging evil spirits.
He's down in the book as a babysitter, but obviously his entire job entails of exorcising demons. But I suppose it is a parody after all, so I let them off. The exorcist arrives to the house, silhouetted with his suitcase in hand. Now I know you recognise this scene, there's no way you don't. They've literally even parodied the exorcist's iconic arrival shot by shot. That's hilarious. The baby ups his game and turns even more demonic when he's exposed to the exorcist's presence. The exorcist basically just calls the baby the epitome of evil. It's pronounced epitome, not epitome, idiot. And says,
He will twist your soul from the inside out.
I'm just imagining if the possessed person in The Exorcist wasn't actually a girl but a baby instead. Imagine how f***ed up that would be. The baby demands dessert, specifically ice cream.
Ice cream!
I mean, now he's starting to remind me of myself. Remember earlier I told you that I used to demand ice cream and apple pie off my mother, but I was a kid, so cut me some slack. Anyways, the exorcist objects to his request and tries to give him some rice for dinner instead. And here we go again, more supernatural baby abilities.
The power of rice compels you. The power of rice compels you.
have to say that's so funny. Instead of the power of Christ compels you, the power of rice compels you. The exorcist starts reading from the so-called bedtime book to impose discipline. But it's a clear nod to the Exorcist movie where the exorcist uses a Bible and reads from it to exorcise the demon to leave the girl's body. And the baby's response to this is, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" No, I'm just joking. What he actually said was, "Not that book! Not that book!" But the baby turns the book to shreds. The exorcist makes the parents leave so that he can continue his duties. But just like the doctor and the dog trainer, the exorcist can't help either.
Sorry, got it wrong. Just remembered another appointment.
He gets booted out the bloody window by the evil baby. And then the baby's head turns around 360 degrees. Just like in the Exorcist movie. You know, it's crazy how much they've parodied it. They've made an absolute mockery out of a classic. But I bloody love it. It's great. After failing with the doctor, the dog trainer, and now even the exorcist, or the babysitter, whatever you want to say, whatever the hell, the family comes up with their final idea to fix the baby. They've put 3 candles on the cake this time to signify that it's his 3rd birthday. They go into the baby's room to sing happy birthday, only to discover that he's using demonic telekinetic abilities to move toys with his mind and turn them into demons, just like in the Poltergeist and The Omen. Their plan actually works, and the child magically turns 3 years old. He's no longer a terrible 2, and the so-called demon has left his body. But before the episode ends, that same doctor who introduced the episode concludes it. He criticises the premise of the show that we're watching right now, Dinosaurs, and its producers for its portrayal of handling the child in the way they did. I find it really funny how this guy, who's a star of the show, criticises the show inside of the show. But that's not very funny though. The poor guy got eaten! He may be an asshole, but the man has his opinions. What are they calling male Karens nowadays? Is it Daniel or something? I don't know. He may be a Daniel, whatever the it is, but he's still a nice guy, as you could tell by the start. Actually, you know what? That speaks volumes about what the producers may do to us if we talk shit about the show. Maybe they're trying to tell us something. They might execute us if we criticise it. Obviously, I'm just taking the piss. Calm down, you c***. Anyways, I actually didn't recall every single aspect of this episode when I was preparing for this video, which is great, because it gave me the leniency to enjoy it from a fresh perspective. And as I mentioned, using the words dinosaurs and the exorcist in the same sentence is diabolically whimsical. Now obviously, as a kid, I wouldn't have understood that this episode was a parody of The Exorcist. I just didn't, because I didn't watch The Exorcist as a kid, and I'm glad I did, because it would have f***ed me up. But that is one special thing about dinosaurs. Just like The Simpsons and other similar shows, they have hidden clues, Easter eggs, and just hidden details, targeted at an older audience.
If you ask me, old folks have it pretty sweet.
Like us here. And watching as someone who's seen The Exorcist, I find every single spoof hilarious. Such as when the parents resorted to a doctor and even an animal trainer to cure the clearly possessed baby, but eventually stumbled upon the babysitter, who, let's admit, is an exorcist, but an utterly horrendous one. Okay, so this is his arrival. Look at this right here. And now I'll show you a few scenes from The Exorcist. This is the possessed little girl getting looked at by some doctors. This is a psychiatrist who checked up on her. And finally, here's The Exorcist. And here's his arrival. I think they were pretty spot on with their parody of this aspect of the movie. It was really well done. Now let's take a look at some of the other spoofs in the episode and compare them side to side with The Exorcist. Like this one, where the baby levitates into the air. This is its Exorcist counterpart. Then we have this part that I have to say was pure comedy.
The power of rice compels you. The power of rice compels you.
And here's the equivalent to The Exorcist.
The power of Christ compels you.
Something that was funny as hell was when the priest read from a children's book instead of a Bible to exorcise him, or make him behave. And the moment that did it for the parents was when the baby turned his head around 360 degrees, of course. Well, this is yet another action pulled from The Exorcist in a scene that isn't very pleasing for the eyes. Anyways, that's about all I have to say about this absolutely magnificent episode of Dinosaurs called The Terrible Twos. I genuinely enjoyed it, and it was one of the best parodies I've ever seen. The best Exorcist parody anyways. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And let me know if you'd like to see me cover any of the other few Scary Dinosaurs episodes. There's barely any. Like Monsters Under My Bed. Thanks for watching and good luck.